Yakuza 3. Yakuza Kiwami 3. Yakuza 3 Kiwami. It's a good game. I already played Yakuza 3, the original. Out of 3, 4, and 5, which are the oldest ones that never really got a remaster. Well, I think they got a remaster, but not like Yakuza 0, even the original, not even the director's cut, still holds up great. Kiwami 1 and 2 were already pretty good, even before the next gen update. Yeah, 3 really needed some love. Because it's the only one that I actually finished. I started 4 and 5, but it didn't really go anywhere, and obviously 6 was the first one I played, and then beyond that is just all like a Dragon engine. I think Kiwami 2 had the Dragon engine as well or something. But either way, and it was only a few years ago, or well, probably a little longer than that I played the original 3. But all I remember was like it was so dainty and like grungy and old and outdated, and it was pretty gnarly. It was still fun, but like, and it still had that old charm, obviously, and of those older games. But it's just a shame because Okinawa is so nice, and then you're on an island, and the kids, and the orphanage, and but the old one was so like, it was just rough. It was good enough where it was, obviously it was easy enough for me to get through it. The only reason why I quit 4 and 5 was because I got lost or didn't know what to do or stuck or something, confused. Or I just wasn't really willing to take it seriously, or because it was so old. And yeah, this is cool. I'm glad it came out. It felt great. Everything was smooth, the quality of life, everything was just better, more modern, very clean, very precise and sharp and detail. But ultimately, it was the same game all over again. I just recently replayed 0 and 1 and 2 right before this came out. Yeah, it was also nice because it had English in it, which Kiwami 1 and 2 didn't have that, even the newest versions of them. Thankfully, Yakuza 0 did too. So it's been interesting, like between 0 and then this, getting English and kind of, in a way, you are playing almost a whole new game again. Because there's just such a different feel to it, and I can actually understand them, and I don't have to read subtitles, and it's just nice passively, like, just a little bit of a better experience. Even though, yeah, it's hard to beat the original voice, but I've been there, done that, I've already played it, so I'm not really missing out on much. But like, it's one thing if that's the only voice that there is, and you're kind of forced to listen to that anyway, which is how the older games were already like. So but yeah, I don't know what all the differences really were, like what they took out, what they put in. It's just been long enough since I played the original that I don't really remember every little single thing. I remember Okinawa, I remember certain sub-stories or whatever, but so I sat through the cutscenes and stuff, but I pretty much, I'm like, dude, I'm not reading all this again. I just kind of skipped through a lot of that. there might have been new content in there that I might have skipped over, but I mean, as long as I'm kind of getting the cutscenes out of it, I don't know. I wasn't gonna sit there and like try to. It was awkward because you want to treat it as a new game because it is. But I'm like, oh, it's such a big game and long too that it's like I don't really want to go through it. It just would have took way too long. On top of all the grinding and the completion list stuff and just the main story in general, and it's definitely a good time saver. It's like I kind of regret not respecting it fully, but at the same time, it's a little more realistic to do exactly what I did, was just kind of passively get through it and move on eventually and not get stuck playing it for too long and do a majority of the stuff. And I'm pretty happy with 75%. That's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to play the game, I'm willing to fight and the mini games and this and that, but it's there's so much like unvoiced content that it's like which if this was the first playthrough and not kind of a replay, it would have been a little different, but that's what sucks though, is that if there was anything new, then I didn't really get that out of it, unfortunately. And that's not even counting the Dark Ties stuff. All that was new to me. It was new content, but the problem I had with Dark Ties is I didn't really care for the guy. I didn't really. It's hard not to give too much away. I just wasn't interested. It was like basically playing the base game all over again. And it's annoying because I heard someone say like, oh, it's short and they cut content out of the base game or to make room for Dark Ties. I don't know, but like, I just really, by that time I was so kind of burnt out and was ready to switch and play something else anyway, and I was like, I'll do it now while I'm playing it, but it's tough because they do that with Majima. Like, they want you to play as him and do his stuff too, and like in Zero, and he had his saga thing and the Dead Cells and whatever else. But Majima's different. He's a bad guy. He's an anti-hero. And this dude is kind of just a bad dude. Like, he's still like, you sympathize for him and his character, and you want to know a little bit more about him, and you're sympathetic, but you pity him, and he's just your classic generic villain, basically. But my main man is Kiryu. I can't really take anyone else the same way as Kiryu, because I can relate to him more, I can identify with him more, I like him more, he's motivating, he's inspiring, he's a good guy. I can just kind of vibe with that a little bit more. This dude was kind of just like, you know, sure, he's charismatic and rich and powerful and smart and calculated and not the worst looking guy. Like, I think in every sense, he's not really me, but he's definitely someone that you could have been, or like, if in another life, or like, what if you did wind up that way? Or he's like the opposite of Kiryu. He's kind of just really, like, I think he has potential to be a good person, but he's so shrouded by this kind of dark cloud of like whatever the heck's going on with him. I don't know. The cutscenes are good.
So, you're off then?
We are.
Right. Well, I'm glad I caught you before you're gone.
But yeah, even with the Dark Ties, the Dark Ties is the only really new thing here anyway, so I've kind of already covered 3 original, but like yeah, it's just kind of dragging on because you're not probably going to play it obviously until you play the base game. By that time you're kind of just like, ugh, or it might have not been the worst idea to like play that later. Like, hey, take a break from the base game, play something else, come back. I was like, I just want to get it over with, and it gave you more of a perspective of some other characters as well, and gave you a different angle and idea of what's going on. It provided a little bit more context, but it just kind of, I don't know, it just felt so forced and like kind of shoved in there, and like hey, people have already played 3 and we're rehashing out 0, 1, and 2, and we keep coming out with all these newer games, and they're just pumping stuff out like crazy. It's almost too much, but, and I know they're trying hard and I respect that, but it's like, I do, we like Yakuza, but it's the issue with this franchise and series is that it's always going to be kind of just floating along, and I think no matter what they're kind of diluting it and I don't know, saturating it. Like, hey, more Yakuza the better, I'm not complaining, but it's more, it gets to that point where you want to make your stuff kind of matter too, and not just throw stuff out constantly, but whatever. I've been playing, it's almost like I'm playing a different Yakuza game like every year, every 6 months, or it's like Call of Duty. Yeah, the Dark Ties, I liked it in a way, like, hey, I like dark stuff, and villains are cool, and he's kind of a heartthrob, and like chip on his shoulder, baggage and weight, and he's had his own traumas and like, you know, typical bad guy stuff. You know, Yakuza, underground, underworld, crime syndicate, mafia, yada yada. But then what got me is like, why him? Why does he get all this attention? Why does he get this extra game mode? What's so special about him? And he's included with some key characters, and he definitely has his own place, and he's up there in the ranks, the caliber of like bad guys. I definitely wouldn't say he stands out more than others, or like he kind of just blends in really, but, and yeah, he had a presence, and like you could just look at him and be like, okay, this guy is bad news. He's very anime, he's very like, you know, he's that dude that's like, oh, I'm smarter and cooler than you. But he's, at the end of the day, he's gonna lose. That's just how it is. Like, bad guys, they never win, so like, and of course he wasn't even sympathetic until, or you didn't really feel for the guy until like last minute. I feel like in the base game, he was just there enough to like, you know, hey, this, you know, I remember him too from OG. I was like, oh, here he is. And then you look at, he definitely stands out because he's like younger, and like, you know, he's not like some old fart. He's not like some old dude or someone that just happens to be in charge of seniority, but obviously he's, you know, corrupt. Well, they're all corrupt, but I don't know. I mean, I could profile him all day, but he's kind of just, I don't know. Did this game need Dark Ties? I don't know. I think that's kind of their main selling point. For me, I was just more excited to replay 3 in general. Like, I would have loved to see the kids again, and I'm just sure it looks so good because every game they keep coming out with just looks better and better. I don't know how they do it. I think it's getting to the point though too where like some of the textures are messed up, or they're focusing, their auto-focusing is like kind of wacky. I think they're getting better at the detailing, like the graphics, like it doesn't look like they have a bunch of holes in them. You can still really see their pores, but I think they did a great job at like skin grafting more of them, or like making it look a little more natural, and like the texture of their skin, especially the close-ups. But yeah, better graphics, better gameplay, better had a lot of the same. They kind of just keep rehashing stuff. Like it really did remind me of Infinite Wealth, Pirates in Hawaii. Not just because the setting, but also just things they've been kind of doing, like you know, collectibles and buying stuff and money and whatever. And that's the thing with Dark Ties too. It was so different. Like shit, if I had it as good as Homeboy did in Dark Ties, as Kiryu in the base game, would have been pretty nice. Yeah, it was just a good time. It was especially like the weather's getting nicer. The weather's, you know, you're on an island in the game. Very tropical, sunny. So that was kind of another thing I had to consider. I'm kind of a little more anxious if they did, if and when, that what they probably are, but if they do like 4 and 5, because I never finished those, and if they remade them, this would give me a good excuse to actually play those fully and kind of just ditch the old ones entirely, and or keep them around and maybe still kind of try to give them a go. But because odds are once they come out with the new versions, I don't even know if you're going to be able to get the older games anymore. I think that's what they've been doing with the others so far, like 0 and 1, 2 and all that. But yeah, it's good to see Haruka again. I kind of just I didn't do any of the orphanage stuff. And this is all like in the trailers and it's nothing new, but like I kind of skipped over the kids, which is kind of sad because I think they were the best part of the original. I love seeing Kiryu as like a dad and like the cool uncle, and very fatherly, and just helping out these kids, and he knows what it's like because he's been there before. And you know, you could have been one of those kids, or you could have been in Kiryu's shoes, and what would you have done? And I think he's just very noble and courageous and doing something good for somebody else. And this is probably out of everyone he's ever helped and saved, and I think this is the most nicest thing he's done, was just kind of be there for these people that needed him. And that's all you can do at the end of the day, is just kind of do that at the very least, if anything. So I definitely have big respect for Kiryu in this one specifically. This is when he really started to veer off from all that craziness and nonsense and bad vibes and negativity, and this is when he's trying to take a new leaf and try something different. And because it's cool, because I started with 6 and I found that was Kiryu at his peak. He was like his final form. But this is when he was really starting to kind of actually grow and actually develop and evolve, and it's always nice to see. Gameplay's good. Yeah, the gameplay was was still fun. It felt good, especially on the next gen, it being a next gen version, and the DualSense controller and the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers, blah blah blah. One thing I kind of hated though was like, and I've actually heard this from someone else as well, and I'm glad he kind of knew about that or had some insight on it, but these guys are so defensive. Like, they just kept like, I try not to get too specific about stuff, but like, I just find it kind of annoying, especially with the 0, 1, and 2, just for an example, let alone all the other games. Like, they're not the smartest bulbs on the tree, and they're not, you know, you just kind of beat them up, and especially when they're so spammy, they're following you around, they're chasing you a mile down the road, whatever. They're cock blocking you at every fucking place you're trying to go to and everything you're trying to do. But it's like I'm literally wailing on them. I'm trying they make me work for it. I'm even trying to do like my heavy moves, and I'm like, dude, these basic ass grunts are like fighting for their life. It's kind of weird. They just die. Or get knocked out, whatever the heck actually happens, but God, it is just frustrating because like it kind of just dragged on. Like, I just want to beat them up and do what I gotta do. There's so much to do too. Like, you're just going from one thing to another, and it's like, bro, I don't got time for this. I don't need every encounter to be like this whole thing. I mean, I'm kind of glad they actually give a shit and fight and defend themselves, but like, instead of just kind of taking it. But at this point, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of inconvenient. It's a small, dumb, weird little thing, but as the combat as a whole, it's just kind of like, ugh. Like, how much are you gonna, how much, it just becomes like a chore and a job. Like, if it was any other game, or like when there's a little bit more of like a serious combat element to it, mechanics, and it's like fine, but, and it is a fighting game, so like I get it, but, well, that's the thing, if you're gonna make me bust my ass, dude, let it be a boss, or you know, like, it's just every guy was like driving me crazy. I'm like, whatever, man. Stupid. I guess in a good way, if there's a good way to justify it at all, it's the fact that like, in a way, they kind of force you to like actually care and get, like, hey, put a little bit more effort into it. Maybe they thought the other games were too easy, and it's an open world game, so obviously that's how I'm treating it, but I want to say they did that with the original 3 too. It wasn't even like, hey, let's adapt the new 3 to like kind of be a little bit more like, hey, it's an older game, but it's in a newer paint job. Let's make it a little more interactive. I don't know. Another big thing. I don't know if it's given away or not, but it surprised me because I didn't really see much of anything at all before I started playing. I didn't watch anything. I might have saw whatever trailers there were, but I don't know how much those really gave away, or but I loved fucking I loved Rikia. I don't want to give God, it's hard. Cause he was in Tokyo Vice as well, which is basically the next most. I'm sure there's plenty of Yakuza related like media out there, movies, shows, whatever. There's anime too. But I was like, God, it's so cool to see him, because I I love that show. I love that I love Tokyo Vice more than I do the actual Yakuza live action show. But it was really cool to see him. I know they're pretty good with like guest celebrities and like actors, and but most of them are like, yeah, I know of this person, but I don't really care. Or, like, oh, I've seen him around, or. But this time it was like, wow, that's really cool. And you really got to see him in kind of a different light, because I've only really ever seen him in that show. And it's his face model. I'm pretty sure he was voicing him too, because he didn't sound very professional. But like, I'm sure he doesn't do like a whole lot of voice acting. So you can almost kind of tell it was probably him. I don't know why they would separate it like that. I don't think they normally do that, but... Or obviously Kiryu doesn't look... His real voice Japanese actor doesn't look like him, but... Same with Majima, but that's different, right? But I know this guy knows how to speak English too, so... But he's natively Japanese. But he was just, I don't know, I love Riki as character as a whole, not even just because of the fact that he changed. I think it's the only big change that I noticed. But, and it's funny, I even looked at pictures of the old one, I was like, oh my god, I forgot what the old Riki even looked like, and I think he did need like a makeover. Freaking some dorky dude with a perm. But you know, bless the old Rikia too. He's still like a nice guy, and you feel bad for him, and he's kind of like your first real friend, really, like your bromie. And like, sure, you have Date and Nishiki and whatever, but like that was all kind of. But this was like his first real, genuine, actual like friend. So he definitely helped me like get through the game more, and like whatever problems I did have, he kind of helped with just getting through that, whatever issues I was having. But yeah, Kiryu still looks like a goldfish. He looks like he's got a makeover. I don't know why everyone looks like they have like mascara and eyeliner on. I really miss Kiryu's older model. Like replaying 0 and 1 and 2 again were pretty... Or was it 2 when he started to kind of look weird, or I don't know, but I miss his more rugged model more. I kind of look at it the same as like I like RE4 OG Leon versus remake Leon, but whatever. Old boomer. But yeah, is it worth full price? I don't know. I think it's definitely like a get on sale game, because I don't know, it's tough with these kind of situations. It was different like if I'd never played the original 3, great. And if I'm just getting into Yakuza or something, like fantastic. But since I've already played it before, it's kind of just like meh. Cuz the problem is, it's like it's not gonna hold my attention, or like I'm gonna be falling asleep, or like it's not as engaging or interactive because of the fact that I've kind of been there, done that. So it's one of those awkward things where, how do you justify not only replaying it, the energy and the time, but the price point as well, and having that budget? If someone likes it enough, whoever likes Yakuza, they're gonna get it, period. They're gonna get it regardless. Yakuza fans are very loyal. This series has been around forever. They continue to play it to this day. They try to keep up on every release that does come out, and as many as there are. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much to it. Like, yeah, Dark Ties is fine. It exists. It's a thing. I try not to even give that too much attention, because I don't, it's not gonna be able to like outshine the base game, so it's almost irrelevant to even really think too much about, but or consider. But hey, it's more content. I mean, shit, you can almost consider that like what 25% of the whole game in its entirety, so it's a pretty big chunk of, it's a quarter of like the actual full time of the game, really, whatever it is that you do. And I kind of enjoyed the, I wouldn't really call it a mini game. I don't know, like the side, kind of like one of the more major side things to do, activities, kind of like clan battles and whatever else they always kind of change it each time to something slightly different. That was kind of fun. There's a lot of beating people up. Holy, between dark ties, between the base game, between what's in the base game that's optional, that's not part of the main story, or aside from the completion list, or just including that implied. Wow. I spent a lot of hours just beating guys up. I think you're definitely beating up a lot more people than like in 0, 1, and 2, but maybe all the games, I don't know. It's kind of a tough one to say, but I just felt like there was a little too much. But to be fair, I think by the time the original was out, that's, you know, okay, there's 1 and 2. I don't know Zero's timeline really, but as far as like releasing, and if they did that after 1 and 2, or if it did come originally, which I doubt it. Usually they'll do like a prequel later on type deal, like Star Wars. That's when things are trying to kind of amp up, and it's just filling out the game more, and like, whatever. But you definitely get, like, whether it's a sale or not, or you get it day one or whatever, like you do get your money's worth out of it, and keeps you busy. There's definitely plenty to do. I just wish I would have looked at it, like if I got to play it for the first time completely, I think I would have enjoyed it more, but either way, it was still a fun little time, and I don't regret it. Yeah, Yakuza 3, Kiwami 3 Kiwami.